Welcome back to Reader's Workshop. Yesterday, we talked about reading intensely, and we charted some ideas of what readers do to grow their ideas and to read intensely. And as we were doing this, we wrote down things like find a book you want to read it as if you're in that book, figure out confusing parts, note important things to talk about later. When we were doing this, I really noticed yesterday that I needed to add another bullet point to our chart. So I added, do the work the book is requesting. In fourth grade, our books no longer come out and tell us what's going on. The books we read and the authors that write these books don't just say, here's my character's problem, or here's how my character is feeling right now. They don't tell you. Instead, they show you through images and reoccurring objects and ideas. But it's your job to actually do the work that the book is requesting. So we started that yesterday. But right now, I want you to take a minute and get your jots that you did yesterday. Once you find your jots, press play for the work we're going to do today. Okay, readers, now that you have your jots from yesterday, I want you to look at those jots and I want you to think, did I read intensely? Did I actually find a book I wanted to read? Did I actually read it as if I was in that book? Did I actually figure out any confusing parts? Did I have confusing parts? Am I noting important things that I actually have to talk about later? And did I actually do the work that this book is requesting? So readers, I want you to pause the video. Really look over your jot or your multiple jots. And I want you to ask yourself, did I actually read intensely? Okay, so welcome back. I was looking over some jots from yesterday and thinking about reading intensely. Strong readers can spot times when they aren't reading intensely. Me, as an adult reader, still notes times where I know I'm not reading intensely. And either I'm confused or I just am flying through and not taking a minute to stop and actually do the work. Instead of trying to just blow past this and hope that the next chapter you read is actually going to be read intensely, strong readers instead try to get to the root of that problem. And they really try to figure out, well, why wasn't I actually reading intensely here? And I'm going to let you in on a little secret. Sometimes the reason why we aren't reading intensely is because the book that we're reading isn't just right for us. Today I want to teach you that to grow solid ideas about our books, readers need to choose books that they can read fluently and that they can understand well. And they have ways of checking each book that they pick before actually committing to it so that they know if it's a just right book or not. So before we started this unit, readers, we explored and we picked out books that we were interested in reading and that seemed to be just right for us. And this was amazing work that we did. But yesterday when we were reading intensely, a few of you noticed that you struggled to do that. Be honest with yourself. Did you struggle to do that work? If you did, you didn't really struggle because it was too hard maybe, but rather you could have struggled because the book wasn't deep enough to actually really read intensely. The books that we're reading or need to be reading in fourth grade can't really be those fun graphic novel books. We all love reading Captain Underpants, or have at some point in our life. But are those ideas and are those books really going to give us great ideas about things we need to do in life and deeper meanings? Probably not. So today we're going to pause and we're going to make sure that the books we chose to read for this unit so far to start are really pushing our reading minds. When you are trying to make sure your book is just right, and when you're trying to read intensely, readers pick books that sound smooth when they read it, kind of like a read aloud. They pick books that have parts that they really need to pay close attention to in order to figure out what's going on. Their books don't have too many hard words in it, but they definitely have a few. Their books have mostly letters that aren't too small and close together. They can read what's on the page. And they pick books that actually push their ideas as readers. So today, before we actually continue reading, I want you to look at the book that you've chose to use right now. And you need to ask yourself, is this book just right? Maybe it is too hard, and that can happen. But mostly, you need to check that this book isn't too easy. And this book is actually going to be able to give you deeper ideas about your characters and what's happening in your text. So I want you to pause the video. And with the book you have right now, I want you to work through this chart. Did you pick a book that fits all of these bullet points? If you realize you didn't, your job today is to find a new book. If you realize the book you have is actually a Just Right great book, then just keep going with your ideas. Take a minute, pause the text. Do you have a Just Right book? Readers, let's come together. I hope you had a chance to honestly look at your book and really think, is this going to be a book that I can read intensely with and grow my ideas? If it is, your job today is to continue growing your ideas as you read that book. Make sure you're logging your reading. If the book actually that you have doesn't end up being the book that you really think will grow your ideas as intense as it can, your job today is to first find your new book that you're going to start, and then start growing those intense ideas and start reading intensely. Another thing that readers do when they read intensely to grow ideas is they find the flow of their book. Your job today is to find that flow where you can read and jot and really understand what's going on. So we have a big job to do today, but I know you can do it. Let's get started.